Dear Father, I believe that our lives, dreams, and wishes should no longer be wasted on an idea that has long since lost the hope of becoming a reality. That is why we have decided to leave before this fruitless land consumes us. We're going home. Louisa May.
Building up the days for love that never stays. Near is always far, is hidden behind the closest star. Another song.
So, what interests you about the Transcendental movement?
So my short definition of what is Transcendentalism is this idea that every person, every individual human being was born with their own special way of connecting with the greater force. And whatever you might want to call that greater force. Some people call it God. Some people call it Allah. Some people call it Mother Nature. But that every single individual was born with their own unique way of tapping into that and then contributing and making the world a better place. And then nature is also an important part where if you look really closely, like you might have noticed before we began our interview, there was this 5 minutes where I decided to just lay back and look up in the trees, which seems like a weird thing for a curator to do maybe, but that was my moment of just tapping back in. So there's that idea of the promise of the individual. And I do really think in terms of humanism and this potential of each individual, that is really what interests me most about Transcendentalism.
So, why do you think that people wanted to join like the utopian society that was here, founded by Louisa May Alcott and Charles Lane?
So that was in 1843 and called Fruitlands. They hoped that people would live off of the fruit of the land. So the people who did join cared about human rights. They cared about improving themselves. So some of the ways that they hoped to do that was by hurting not any single individual, no animal, including not even using wool, wearing only fibers that were from plants, only eating plants, not eating any meat, and reading lots of books.
So, of all the historical people associated with the Fruitland Society, who do you think was the most interesting or important, and why?
I would have to say it's a tie between Bronson Alcott and Louisa May Alcott. So the father then had 4 daughters. One of them was Louisa May Alcott, one of the most famous and internationally appreciated female authors in the world. She made all the money for her family, wrote under a pen name and her own name. So there's a lot of reasons she's fascinating. And I think as a mentor, he was really important to Louisa.
Another night, another lifetime without light, another time, the one I knew, left behind as it all fell through.
So, what do you think about Ivy Alcott? Do you think that her decision to pull her family out of the Fruitland Society was a good idea, or do you think that maybe she should have stayed with her husband?
So even if she stuck it out for a couple more months and really backbreaking labor and freezing cold winter, I'm glad that she left at the time that she could still be healthy and that her daughters were healthy. So, but I do love what you're kind of bringing up, which is what if they did stick it out and they had a great spring spring planting, and then the harvest could have happened. So that's an interesting line of thinking. What do you think?
I think that it was definitely a good idea for her to leave when she did, because there might not have been a good harvest in the spring, because this is not ideal farming land. So I think that it was a very good idea to leave, and I think that it was definitely good that she did stand up for herself.
Yeah.
Please don't take this love of mine. Just take me away somewhere far from where we are.
We all have our own life to pursue, our own kind of dream to be weaving, and we all have the power to make wishes come true as long as we keep believing. Louisa May Alcott.
building up the days for love that never stays. Near is always far, is hidden behind the closest star. Another song, another light, another voice, it's time to shine. Another love, another dream.